Hello and welcome to Spoonful of Simplicity English. There's so much color everywhere, so I thought why not make a really colorful orange cake with some chocolate inside. So we're going to use orange and chocolate ganache in this cake. Let's begin. So to start with, we need some fresh oranges. Nowadays they're available in plenty. So I have used 2 small oranges, but if you can find one big orange, that should suffice. I am going to zest one of these oranges, and around half a teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon of zest should be enough. That's it. Now with the remaining oranges, I've cut them in halves, and I'm going to squeeze out the juice from each of those. This recipe calls for somewhere around half a cup of juice, so you may want to judge for yourself how much juice would the orange that you're using that would have. But I'd recommend it not less than half a cup, because this recipe needs a lot of orange. It's an orange cake. Now, in case you don't find or you don't want to use fresh oranges, then please feel free to use the packaged orange juices instead. But remember to take out half a cup for the purpose of this recipe. In this recipe specifically, we are going to make use mostly of the orange juice, and we are going to cut down on the liquids. And how are we going to do that? We'll see in just a little bit. So that's half a cup of orange juice. Now let's start with the cake batter. Now I'm using 1/4 cup of odorless oil, and then I'm going to use half a cup of caster sugar, 1 tablespoon of demerara sugar, and some milk. Now in terms of dairy, milk is the only product that I'm going to use in this recipe, and the remaining liquids are going to be compensated by orange juice. So let's add 1/4 cup of orange juice to this mixture, and that completes our liquid ingredients for now. And now we're going to add the dry ingredients to this. Now I'm taking all purpose refined or plain flour, or 1 cup of it, baking powder 1 teaspoon, baking soda 1/2 teaspoon, and a pinch of salt, or somewhere around 1/8 teaspoon. To this mixture, we are also going to add half of the zest that we had put apart at the start of the preparation of this recipe. And then we are going to mix all of these ingredients together with the help of a whisk. In case you need to adjust the consistency of this batter, please make use of orange juice. I have also added around 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla essence to this mixture, only to give it an additional flavor. But this is optional here, because the orange zest and orange juice is going to take care of the dominant orange flavor that we need for this cake. Now with that, my cake batter is ready. I'm going to use a spatula and just cut and fold this batter a few times, and then I'm going to transfer this to a lined cake tin. I've used a 6-inch cake tin for this recipe here, but if you want to use 6 or 7, it's perfectly fine. After tapping it a few times, I'm going to bake it in a preheated oven at 160 or 170 degrees centigrade for around 30 to 40 minutes. At the end of around 35 minutes, you must do a skewer test to see if your cake is prepared. Otherwise, leave it a little longer for it to bake. Next, we are going to prepare the garnishing, and I'm using orange slices for the garnish here. I have sliced one of the oranges that I had, and now we are going to cook these orange slices in some sugar syrup. For the sugar syrup, I have used around half a cup of water and somewhere around 3-4 teaspoons of sugar. We are going to let this sugar syrup boil for a few minutes and then add the orange slices, and while it cooks, we need to keep turning it around, otherwise it might just break from one of the sides. And once the sugar syrup has reduced enough and the slices look well cooked, we can take it out, put it on a parchment paper to cool down, and let it cool for a while till it is completely cold and you can touch it without any issues. After that, I'm going to slice these into some random shapes that I would like and leave some others, and we will see how do we want to decorate it. Now for the whipping cream, I'm using 1 cup of chilled non-dairy whipping cream. I'm adding the remaining orange zest to it, and again around 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla essence, and we'll whip this cream till we get a stiff peak consistency. Now is the time for our cake to assemble. My cake was baked well. I had kept it out and I'd let it cool for around 1 or 2 hours, and after that I cut it into 2 halves. Now I have used 1 portion of the orange cream on the first part of this cake, and I'm adding some of the slices of oranges that I had set apart, the caramelized orange slices, and I am covering it with the other half, which is covered with chocolate ganache. Friends, if you'd like to learn how to make this super deliciously perfect chocolate ganache, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll be happy to do a session for you only on how to make the ganaches and how many types of ganaches can be made. And yeah, and okay, so coming back to my cake, we are going to decorate the cake. I have just randomly taken over some nozzle, and I'm decorating my cake in any random way that I can imagine at that moment, and with that my cake is going to be ready. Friends, I love to hear from you, and if you would like to interact with me, if you have any queries, or if you would just like to give a feedback, I'll be very happy to see them in the comments section. And if you do like my recipe, please do hit the like button and share this recipe with somebody that you think is going to benefit from. To complete my cake, I have decorated it with orange slices, and then I also used some edible orange glitter that I had, and I have just randomly sprinkled it around the cake, which finishes my cake to the T. And here, my friends, is an amazingly delicious orange and chocolate cake. Please do like my recipe if you genuinely like it, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing now and hit the bell icon so that you're always kept aware of all the recipes that I post. Till I see you next time, bye bye.